Marcus Aurelius. Timeless lessons for the modern mind. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, by the constant demands of work, relationships, money, and the digital storm of information that never seems to end? Have you ever wished for clarity, peace, and strength when the world around you seemed determined to break you down? If so, then you are not alone, and you are standing shoulder to shoulder with an emperor who faced the chaos of a crumbling empire, the betrayals of men close to him, and the endless pressure of being responsible for the lives of millions, all while seeking serenity within himself. That emperor was Marcus Aurelius, the last of the so-called 5 good emperors of Rome, and perhaps the greatest Stoic philosopher who ever lived. And today, here on Stoic Gateway, we will enter his world, not as historians gazing at old marble statues, but as modern seekers of wisdom who need his lessons now more than ever. Because Marcus did not write his meditations for fame or for publication. He wrote them as reminders to himself, private notes to strengthen his soul. That is what makes them so powerful. So stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you will not only understand Marcus Aurelius, you will carry his wisdom into your own daily battles, and you will never see life the same way again. Before we begin, if you find value in the wisdom of the ancients, and you want to transform your life through Stoicism and timeless philosophy, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Gateway, where we bridge the old world with the modern mind. Now let us begin. The man behind the emperor, Marcus Aurelius, was born in 121 AD. A boy of noble family but raised in simplicity, taught discipline and philosophy from an early age. Adopted into the imperial family by Emperor Antoninus Pius, Marcus was not groomed to be a tyrant or a playboy prince. He was trained in philosophy, logic, self-restraint, and the Stoic discipline of the mind. Imagine being told as a young boy that one day you might rule the greatest empire in the world. How would you prepare? Marcus prepared not with arrogance, but with humility. He surrounded himself with teachers, Stoic mentors, like Junius Rusticus, who gave him Epictetus's Discourses, a book that would shape his inner world forever. Unlike most emperors, Marcus did not crave luxury. He wore simple clothes, slept on hard beds, and lived as close as possible to a philosopher disguised as a ruler. Yet fate would not grant him peace. His reign was filled with wars, plagues, betrayals, and endless responsibilities. And yet he never collapsed under the weight. Why? Because of the inner fortress he built. Here lies our first lesson from Marcus Aurelius. The outer world is never fully under your control, but your inner world is always yours to command. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think of that quote: the next time traffic is unbearable, when your boss is unreasonable, or when life delivers unexpected tragedy. The lesson is timeless. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you interpret it and how you respond. Now let's look at Marcus' journal. The Meditations, a private book that changed the world. Marcus Aurelius did not sit down to write a masterpiece. He sat down, often at night after long days of leading armies and issuing judgments, to write notes to himself. These became the Meditations. He never meant for us to read them. And yet, across centuries, his private journal became one of the most influential works of philosophy ever written. Why? Because they are not abstract theories. They are the raw struggles of a man at the edge of power and despair. When you read Marcus Aurelius, you do not hear an emperor. You hear a man telling himself, do not be angry today. Do not waste time on trivial things. Remember that death is near. Do your duty. Be just. Be kind. Be unshaken. That is why his words reach across time, straight into our hearts. Think about the modern world. We are drowning in self-help books, motivational speakers, and productivity hacks. But Marcus Aurelius offers something different: simplicity, honesty, humility. He does not say, "You will always win." He says, "You will die. Everyone will die. And yet, you can live nobly today." And this is our second great lesson. Do not waste your life chasing illusions. Live with virtue today, because today is all you truly have. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. When you wake up in the morning, do you tell yourself this? Or do you slip straight into distraction? Marcus would urge you, before you check your phone, before you rush to work, pause. And remember, life is short, but virtue is eternal. And that is why Stoic Gateway exists, to bring these timeless reminders back into our daily lives. So if you have not yet, subscribe, because you and I are walking this road together. Take a pause. Now let's look at the enemies within: anger, fear, and desire. Marcus Aurelius understood that the greatest battles are never fought on the battlefield. They are fought inside the mind. He struggled with anger. Imagine ruling an empire where betrayal lurks at every corner. Yet Marcus reminded himself, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and I know that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. What an incredible mindset. Instead of being surprised by the faults of others, he expected them. Instead of resenting them, he forgave them. Imagine how much peace you would gain if you expected human weakness rather than being constantly outraged by it. Fear was another enemy. But Marcus reminded himself that fear is always rooted in imagination. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live, and desire the endless hunger for wealth, pleasure, fame. Marcus called these shadows, distractions that enslave the soul. He lived in palaces, yet warned against becoming a slave to luxury. What would he say to us, scrolling endlessly through Instagram, comparing our lives to illusions? Here lies the third lesson. Do not be enslaved by anger, fear, or desire. Master them, or they will master you. Death, time, and the eternal view. No theme appears more often in meditations than death. Some find this morbid, but Marcus found it liberating. He reminded himself daily that he was a man, not a god, and his time was limited. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is not meant to depress you. It is meant to sharpen you. If today were your last day, would you waste it on anger, gossip, and envy? Or would you live nobly, with courage and love? In the modern world, we avoid thinking about death. We distract ourselves endlessly. Marcus teaches us to face it directly, and in doing so, we discover urgency, meaning, and freedom. And here is the lesson. Live today as if it were both your first and your last. That is the Stoic way. Duty and service. Unlike most emperors, Marcus did not believe his power existed for his pleasure. He believed it was his duty to serve. He lived in tents with his soldiers, endured hardship alongside them, and placed justice above all. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple words, but how many of us live by them? In a world of lies, spin, and manipulation, Marcus Aurelius reminds us, integrity is strength. Life is not about what you can take, but about what you can give, about the duty you fulfill to others. So what do we learn from Marcus Aurelius, this philosopher emperor who lived almost 2,000 years ago? We learn that life is short, that virtue is everything, that the mind is our fortress, that anger, fear, and desire are enemies within, that death is not to be feared but wasted life is, that duty is higher than pleasure. And we learn that even in the chaos of empires, wars, and betrayal, one man can find peace, not because the world is calm, but because his soul is calm. So now I ask you, how will you live today? Will you let the noise of the world control you? Or will you, like Marcus Aurelius, command your mind? And in doing so, command your destiny. If this journey into the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius has inspired you, then take the next step. Join us here at Stoic Gateway, where we bring the wisdom of the ancients to transform modern lives. Hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and let us walk together through the gateway into a stronger, calmer, nobler life. Because as Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius, Timeless Lessons for the Modern Mind. Part 2. Stoicism in the Age of Social Media. Now, let us step into the present day. Because if Marcus Aurelius were alive today, one of his greatest challenges would not be leading an empire across crumbling frontiers. It would be leading his own mind across the battlefield of distraction. Think about it. The Emperor of Rome had endless demands, petitions, advisors, generals, and threats to manage. But even he never had to face the relentless storm of notifications, likes, shares, comments, and digital noise that you and I face every single day. We live in an empire of distraction. An empire where every scroll on your phone is a temptation, where algorithms are designed to steal your attention, and where comparison to others is not just common, it is constant. Now, pause and ask yourself, what would Marcus Aurelius write in his meditations if he had Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube swirling around him every day? He would remind himself, and us, that external applause is meaningless, that fame is nothing but wind, that to live well is not to chase the approval of strangers, but to live in alignment with virtue. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. How true is this in our time? We say we value ourselves, but then we hand over our peace of mind to strangers online. We measure our worth in likes instead of character. And here lies the sixth lesson. Do not live for applause. Live for alignment with your own highest values. So the next time you are tempted to check how many people liked your post, remember Marcus Aurelius. Ask yourself, did I live with integrity today? Did I act with courage? Did I treat others with kindness? Those are the true metrics of a life well lived. And before we move further, if you find this message striking something deep within you, if you feel that spark of clarity, that is exactly why Stoic Gateway exists. Subscribe, because here, we do not chase trends, we chase timeless truth. Marcus Aurelius reigned during one of Rome's most turbulent times. The Antonine Plague swept across the empire, killing millions. Wars with Germanic tribes drained the treasury and threatened collapse. Betrayals within the Senate and even among generals kept the empire unstable. And yet, Marcus never collapsed. He never became bitter. He never surrendered to despair. Instead, he treated every crisis as a test of character. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Think about the last crisis in your life. Perhaps it was losing a job, a relationship ending, an illness, or even the constant stress of financial uncertainty. The modern world is full of these storms. And yet what Marcus Aurelius shows us is that the storm is not what destroys you. What destroys you is your own interpretation of the storm. There are people who grow in adversity and people who crumble. The difference is not the crisis, it is the mindset. Do not ask for an easy life. Ask for the strength to meet whatever life brings. Love of fate. Amor fati. One of the most profound Stoic principles is the idea of amor fati, the love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, not just enduring it, but embracing it, as if you had chosen it yourself. Marcus lived this. He did not write, "Why me?" He wrote, "Why not me?" If fate has chosen me to face hardship, then it is my opportunity to live with virtue in the face of it. Everything that happens, happens as it should. And if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so. Now, ask yourself, when life disappoints you, when things do not go according to plan, do you resist? Or do you embrace? Imagine how much freedom you would gain if you began to see every obstacle as a gift, every hardship as training, every setback as an opportunity to grow. That is amor fati. And that is the 8th lesson. Do not just accept fate, love it, because it is shaping you into who you are meant to be. We live in an age of anxiety, always racing toward the future, always replaying the past. But Marcus Aurelius, centuries before modern psychology, taught the power of presence. Confine yourself to the present. What a simple phrase, yet how powerful. Anxiety is always about the future, what might happen. Depression is often about the past, what already happened. Peace is found only here, now, in this moment. Marcus reminded himself daily that he could not live tomorrow, and he could not live yesterday. He could only live today, and he could only live it once. In our modern age, mindfulness has become a buzzword, but Marcus Aurelius was practicing it long before it had a name. Here lies the 9th lesson. If you want peace, live here and now. Do not wander into the past or the future, stand firm in the present moment. And friend, if you want more timeless practices like this to ground you in the chaos of modern life, then subscribe to Stoic Gateway, because this is not just philosophy, it is survival for the soul in a restless world. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that the world can never truly harm him unless he allows it to. The true fortress is not a wall of stone, but the discipline of the mind. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Think about that. Happiness is not dependent on money, fame, or circumstances. Happiness is the result of how you interpret life, of the stories you tell yourself, of the lens through which you see the world. When you master your mind, no insult can wound you, no misfortune can break you, no storm can drown you. You become like a rock against which the waves crash and still you stand. This is perhaps the greatest lesson of Marcus Aurelius, the 10th lesson. Do not waste your life trying to control what you cannot. Instead, master yourself, and you will be free everywhere. Marcus Aurelius lived nearly 2,000 years ago, yet his words could have been written yesterday. His empire crumbled, but his wisdom endures. His throne is gone, but his journal remains. And in his journal, we hear not the voice of an emperor, but the voice of a fellow human being, struggling to live nobly in a chaotic world. That is why Marcus Aurelius matters today. That is why he speaks to us, perhaps even more than he spoke to his own time. Because the world is still chaotic. The challenges are still real. The mind is still the battlefield. So here is the final question. How will you live? Will you chase distractions, fears, and illusions? Or will you, like Marcus Aurelius, build your inner fortress, live with virtue, and face life with courage? The answer is yours. If this journey has resonated with you, if you feel the call of ancient wisdom awakening inside you, then do not let it fade. Carry it forward. Subscribe to Stoic Gateway, where we bring you not just philosophy, but tools for life, reminders for the soul, and the timeless guidance of men like Marcus Aurelius. Share this with someone you care about, because wisdom is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be lived and shared. Check out the next video coming up. Here we dive deeper into more Stoic wisdom. And remember always the words of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. See you on the next video. Welcome to Stoic Gateway.